A beautiful day that I get to work outside and share such a powerful message around guilt for you. What is guilt? Guilt is a feeling you get due to beliefs and rules that you have around some type of topic. So it is self imposed, and the only person that can create guilt is yourself. And you do it through your thoughts and your feelings, through your perception of what you've learned, what you've experienced, what you expect. And so, like when I was yeah, I was younger, but when my kids were younger and I didn't do something that they wanted me to do, say they wanted to play outside and I didn't want to go outside, I would have such guilt around that, right? Because a good mom, I had all these rules around being a good mother. A good mother played with their kids. A good mother did what the kids wanted them to do. They did, cooked for them, played with them, took them everywhere as they wanted to go. So anytime that I didn't do any of that, I had guilt. And guilt is a self-imposed feeling. No one can make you feel guilty. The only person that can make you feel guilty is you. And so when I was in that part of my motherhood, there was so much guilt around taking time for me, taking time for my husband, taking time to go out, to exercise, to have fun. And that's because of the rules that I had on what a good mother should be, right? There are no shoulds. But back then I had definitely rules around what a good mother could be. So if something is causing you guilt, drop in the chat. Oh man, hopefully that's not too loud. Drop in the chat, like, what's causing you guilt? What is it that's causing you guilt? And then I challenge you to look at, what are your beliefs around what's causing you guilt? Like I just recently talked to someone about investing in themselves, and she's like, I can't do it because um, you know, their spouse didn't want them to. Like, there was these rules that if she did, she was doing something wrong. And she had so much guilt around saying yes to herself because it's not what anybody else wanted for her. And when you do that, when you make a decision based on your guilt, you actually start to build up resentment, anger, frustration, overwhelmed, because you're not truly living in your truest essence. So even though, if I go back to the story with my kids, even though I wanted to have be there for my kids and have time for myself, the guilt part of taking time for myself actually caused me to have resentment towards my kids. Drop down relate if you can relate to that. So it's about looking at what's a new way of looking at something so it doesn't it doesn't create guilt. So for me, if I go back when I was shifting my story around being a good mother, it was about, well, what am I demonstrating to my children for taking time for myself? Like, what is that teaching them? What is it teaching them to eat healthy and set some healthy boundaries and to, like, take care of me? What does that show my kids? Instead of, like, it was taking from my kids, what am I showing to them? What am I teaching them? What am I demonstrating to them? And you can absolutely do this with everything. There's a lot of people I work with, and maybe you can relate, to have guilt around saying no. Like, no being a one word sentence. No. Right? Like, they get guilt around that. Whether it's like, you want to go out to eat? No. Do you want to do this? No. Or mommy, can I go here? No. Right? And so, but what's on the other side of that for the other person? If we are saying no with guilt, then we're creating that experience, that interaction. But if we're saying no, if you were saying no with just the intention of and healthy boundaries, serving yourself, what do you feel is teaching that person on the other end? What's a possible outcome could they have, right? So how to release guilt to put yourself first, how to release guilt to speak up, how to release guilt on anything really comes down to what are the rules, the stories, and the beliefs that you're telling yourself. And you can simply ask yourself, well, what's another perspective? What's another way somebody can be interpreting this? Instead of feeling guilty, what's another way I can feel so that I can bring that into the world? Guilt is all about perspective. It's all about looking at what's causing you. What are the thoughts and the beliefs that are causing the guilt? And then get curious with them. Get curious on how you get to shift them. Get curious if they need to be true. A good mother, I changed my story around being a good mother because it wasn't serving me all those rules I had. It was causing me so much guilt. I had to be with them 100%. I had to homeschool. I had to feed them organic foods. I had to make all their foods. I had to bring them where they wanted to go. I had to play outside. I had to do all these things, right? And it left no room for anything else. Now I believe I've changed my story. I can be a good mother by smiling at my kids, by giving them a good hug, by asking them some questions or picking them up from school or whatever. It's the way that I see it now. The new meaning I give to being a good mother, that new perspective. So look at what's causing you guilt. Challenge it or get curious about what are the stories around that and what new perspective can you gain from so that you can have a new experience around whatever's causing your guilt. I hope this helps you today. Have a fabulous, awesome, amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.